Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Blue Collar Psychiatrist coming to you from the luxurious, magnificent Aventura Studios. Today we're going to talk about something that is very, very important, something that we've not talked about before. I have given you and created several videos about dating. Now, this is something that seemingly people never get tired of learning about and talking about. What are the secrets to dating? Well, there's really no secrets, but there is some observations that I've made over the past years regarding dating, and more particularly meeting people. And these come from different aspects of life, different sides of life. One of them comes actually from obituaries. I moved to my current place of residence a number of years ago, but I still remember people from my place of origin, where I was born, where I grew up. And from time to time, I do check the obituaries to see what's happening in my hometown. And one of the things that I've learned is that in the obituary text itself, oftentimes there are references to that someone in that family of the deceased married another person, and that person was the sister-in-law of somebody else and the brother-in-law of somebody else, and so forth and so on. And this goes back many, many years. But the point I'm trying to make to you is this. These people oftentimes, as I had learned before and as now substantiated, oftentimes are, quote, were fixed up with partners whom they married. And that's how it was done a number of years ago. I don't know if it's still done now, but it wouldn't surprise me that to some extent it still is in effect, especially in what I would call a closed community. That means it's a community with people who are closely attached to each other and don't want any outsiders allowed in to that circle. I experienced that myself growing up, as you well know from my previous videos. And I see it now one after another. It was shocking. I did not know this, but when I see the obituaries and I just see that who is married to whom, that you can see very clearly that it was a closed shop. In other words, these were people who all either knew each other or were, quote, fixed up. And I knew some of those personally who were, quote, fixed up by relatives. So that's one way. Now, if you live in a city like that or in a situation like that, your chances are going to be markedly diminished, because if you're an outsider, if you're not considered worthy, then you're not going to have a great chance. Your odds of meeting someone and marrying them are rapidly declining as time goes on. The other is by watching television, watching, for example, the news organizations, and you will see, and the politicians, by the way, you will see how X is married to Y. But what they all have in common is that they worked in very close proximity, or they were working in a situation where there were many, many people. And you see that Joe Blow, the anchor on such and such a news, is married to the former director of operations for the particular network, and you see much of this going on. It's another end of life compared to when you're younger and people get fixed up, but it's the proximity of many, many, many people who are working in exactly the same division, shall we say, of the news media, and they all get to know each other. People throw parties, and people see each other at work, and you see how many of these people get together, they hook up, and they finally get married because it's just right there in front of them. And they have often, when you think about it, it's literally hundreds of people at their disposal. Now that doesn't mean that they're going to be attracted to, nor are 100 people going to be attracted to them. But the bottom line is that they have this access, and it's all around them, and that is a huge, 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 huge advantage. Rather than going on, shall I say, a dating website where you don't know anybody, and oftentimes many of the people are dishonest in the way they use it. I have nothing against websites in terms of the purpose of the website and the design of the website. It's a great idea because you meet people there you would never otherwise meet. The problem there is that people lie and distort themselves and distort and exaggerate. And this is the problem. And so what I'm trying to say to you is this. If you, live in a community where it's a closed shop, you may not be living in the best place. You have to consider everything before you make a move, obviously. But you might want to consider, maybe I would be better off somewhere else in your own mind. You might think that, and you might well be. And also, if you can get into a situation where there are just many, many, many people involved in the type of work you're doing or in the company, then it makes it so much easier. And instead of wasting time on the dating apps, it just makes it a lot easier. And that's really why I'm here, as you well know. I want to try to make your life a little easier based on the observations that I have made. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you to drink, and drink abundantly from the fountain of life. See you next time!